The Black Star International Film Festival, founded in 2016, has spent the past decade creating a platform that celebrates Africa's storytelling and connects Ghanaian cinema to the world. In 10 years, the festival has hosted filmmakers from across the globe, showcased groundbreaking African films, and consistently sparked conversations on distribution, financing, and the business of film. This year, the 10th edition was held under the theme, The Relevance of Film in Society, a reflection on how cinema goes beyond entertainment to inform, educate, and shape communities. Festival President Juliet Asante explained why the 10th anniversary was marked with these themes.
We've become spectators, watching the rest of the world tell their stories, and we are just sitting there and watching. And that has to change. But the only way to change is if society as a whole comes to realize that film is so critical to who we are as a people, preserving who we are, our culture, informing. Right now, according to UNESCO, this space is like the largest employer. So even if you go through the employment space where you have in Ghana the median age is 18, right? And so you can say that over 60 or 70% of us are below 30. So many young people. The barrier to entry in this space is low. So if you want to create jobs for the largest number of people, what do you use? You use film or content creation and all of those things, because even if the person dropped out of school or whatever, they can pick their phone and they can make content and they can begin to make money. So if we are creative enough and if we think outside the box and if we recognize what is, then we'll realize that film is so critical. Content creation is so critical. The audiovisual space is so critical. It has to do with even questions like what makes a good society, how people think. There's so many different nuances. And I think for us, 10 in 10, it was also about reflection. So how do we reflect? How do we pull into the conversation where it's like introspection? How are the ways that we can use this medium that we have to impact society? How can we bring the consciousness of the community, of Ghanaians, to the fact that, hey, perhaps you are not watching, but you should watch. Many Ghanaians are parents, and many of our kids go home and they watch TV for at least 3 to 4 hours. And that is what is training your child. So I think you should pay attention to the medium that is training your child. So it's all of these thoughts and all of that brought us to the space where we thought about the relevance of film to society.
She reflected on the impact the festival has made since its inception.
A lot of the conversations that is happening now, it started on the platform of BISIF. From the BISIF symposium to even advocacy, we do a lot of advocacy. So for instance, even the National Film Authority, the formation of it was announced on the Black Star International Film Festival platform, right? So, and we do a lot of advocacy behind the scenes. So our impact, beyond right now, for instance, we are having a conversation about cross-border distribution. So we've gone out and brought in French, stakeholders, because we're trying to get Ghanaian films into. So the conversation has started here. IFC is here talking about the money business. So if in 5 years you see Ghanaian films going to Ivory Coast, then who caused it? Nobody might acknowledge that we played that role. So a lot of what we do is exactly that. We are not in the forefront screaming that this is what we are doing, but we enable the environment for people to have conversations, to learn, to network, to have ideas, to do business. And these are the things that stimulate industry growth. Since BISIF started, people who've come through as volunteers is exceeding 1,000. And indeed, the Black Star International Film Festival is the first film festival. It is Ghana's largest. Every film festival that has come out of it has come after, came from the festival. People who came to volunteer or saw what we were doing and thought, oh, me too, I can go and do a film festival.
Juliet also spoke candidly about the challenges of sustaining the festival and the wider industry.
Every country that has done well in the space has even as we speak, has a thriving film festival. And those film festivals are not individuals struggling to make it happen. But in our case, it's been us, individuals struggling for funding, for recognition, for all that, people sacrificing. But until we get to the point where we recognize that, look, we all rise or sing together, and this is what we have. Let's support it and let's see where it can go and where it can take us. And this is government, this is citizens, this is industry people, this is all of us saying that, look, for us to stop the talk and make some real actions, we need to support cultural gatherings like this and platforms like this that have contributed and continue to contribute to the narrative, and in fact change the narrative. That's the only way we are going to go forward.
She explained that beyond funding, one of the biggest obstacles facing the industry is mindset, as many call for transformation but resist the very changes that will make it possible.
One of the major issues we face, we say we want change, but we don't want change. Right? So for instance, look at this conversation that's happening here. We have people that have flown in from China, from Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Ethiopia, US, they are all here. And where are the people who they say they wanted? These people, it's not even about me, they've brought the business, right? Sinikita is here, Majestic is here, they are saying we want to take your films to Ivory Coast, and you are a filmmaker and this opportunity is here, you are not here. You know what I'm saying? Why? I mean, like, now distribution is here, distributes all over Africa and globally, wants the film, and already business is happening here. Peter is already, making a deal. Chi, who flew in who did the first action Nigeria really action film, is here. He's going to collaborate. So those who are here, business is happening. So I think we need to start putting there's a saying that put your money where your mouth is. We need to start putting our money where our mouth is. If we want real change to happen, we need to start having the hard conversations. We need to start showing up. We need to start having intellectual conversations. I know I'm going to get into trouble for this, but we need to start having the intellectual conversations that will take us to where we need to go.
Yet, despite the challenges, she remained optimistic and spoke about the opportunities that the future holds.
The agenda is that within the next 2 to 3 years, we want to take a number of Ghanaian films, not that many, only the filmmakers that are ready, and try and use those films to penetrate French Africa and Nigeria. That's the agenda. And we already have the commitment. And beyond even Sinikita, Majestic, Nal, and all, UNESCO is also on board, and we've set an agenda that within the next couple of years we want to come up with that African film, Ghanaian film that can cross borders, right? And we did some calculations here to say that if we can even reach 10% of West Africa at $3, we could be making over $80 million. So those are the numbers that we are looking at. We are not looking at just Ghana. Ghana, we are great, but we are surrounded by French African countries. We are big. Why do you look just into Ghana when you can look at the entire sub-region? So we are saying that we want to reach 10% of the West African market in the next 2 years and make over $100 million. And all the players are here. Sinikita is the largest cinema in Ivory Coast, expanding into Benin, Cameroon, Togo, and all of that. And we've already identified some films that potentially we are going to push this agenda with. So, I mean, this is not going to be an easy journey. We know IFC is here talking about, hey guys, if you can show us the numbers and show that, there's money here, we are willing to put money in the space. Sinikita and Majestic have said, even if you don't have the money and you come, let's talk the money business. We are also willing to invest. So for us, it's about results. And I think we are already having those results.
Among the international guests was Chinese filmmaker Chi, who also directed Son of the Soil, written by British-Nigerian actor and writer Razak Adeoti. After premiering the film at the festival, he shared his excitement about the experience and the opportunities he sees on the continent.
I think for me, we're really grateful to have the opportunity to be able to showcase the film which I directed in Nigeria called Son of the Soil, which is the closing film. So it's amazing to be selected, an honour, a privilege to be able to showcase the film. It's our first film we'll be having the world premiere here, so it means a lot that the festival responded to the film and connected, really excited for more people to see the film.
It emphasized the importance of education and collaboration in strengthening Africa's cinema.
I think also there's an element of education. Education is a big element, I think, in terms of within the industry and marketing and promotion, and I think that's kind of on both sides of the world. Just kind of better understanding. I think when having had the opportunity to make a film in Nigeria, I think there was a lot of misconceptions about the content, and we came in with no preconceived ideas. We wanted to come in and just really kind of learn and understand, and so I feel it's a case of looking at stories, looking at international stories that will travel and resonate. I think cinema is an amazing medium that combines and brings people together, and I think the stories that we tell, and I think it's about finding right stories that connect, not just locally but internationally on a global level, but also I think ways to just spotlight that more. I think there's often a kind of a disconnect in the industry sometimes in terms of globally from production, distribution, exhibition and those kind of pillars, and often sometimes as creatives and the industry, we sometimes work in silos, we work in little boxes, and I think actually trying to encourage more collaboration, more understanding, more education across the board is what's really important.
Asked whether he will consider filming in Ghana, his response was clear.
Absolutely, yeah, very interested. I think and it was one of the reasons when we had the invitation to come over here and showcase the film, it was really with that intent to see how we can understand more about the market opportunity, and Moses was really key in introducing me to the opportunities in Ghana, and also hearing from Juliet as well, and Castro, the festival director. So I think, yeah, absolutely, for us, we want to explore more films and more opportunities, and I think for us just having the opportunity to be here is an incredible honor and privilege, and for me, I think with Action Extreme, we're an action studio in the UK, our kind of focus is about creating films but also developing talent, uncovering new talent and collaboration. That's kind of at the heart of what we try to do.
Abba Arthur, another leading voice at the festival, stressed the need for collaboration and international partnership to drive the growth of Ghana's film industry.
One of the big things is that I feel like we compare ourselves sometimes, and that comes from outside. We all know Nollywood. And we're not Nollywood, you know? We love Nollywood, and we love what's happening in Bollywood, and we love what's happening in Hollywood, but we are Ghana. So I feel like once we hold on to what actually makes us unique, and we push that forward to stay consistent, and we continue to crank out good art, we're going to be on the scene with everybody else. So I don't know, even right now, I can't say that there's anything necessarily that we need to change. Of course, we can learn in terms of infrastructure and even time and, you know, pay and all of those things. We can learn in terms of that, but that's what we're doing here this weekend. And so it's just about making sure that we're soaking in the information, and then after the festival, we do the things that we've been told. So even just now, I've been sitting here for not very long, and I've learned so much. There's so much that we all still have to learn, and we are all teaching each other, and we're all learning from each other. So that collaboration has to continue. Nobody has all the answers. So I think after this film festival, after this weekend, we soak in what we've learned, we speak to each other so we can pick up things from everybody else, and then we continue to collaborate.
The 10th edition of the Black Star International Film Festival was more than a celebration of its decade-long journey. It was a platform for honest reflection on the state of Ghanaian and Africa cinema, and a call to action for collaboration and